Using exchange bidding and DoubleClick for Publishers allows users to invite trusted, third-party exchanges to compete with their DFP and ad exchange inventory, all in one real-time auction. Each exchange bidding interaction between a publisher and their exchange partners is handled by DFP in what is called a server-to-server integration. Through the DFP ad server, Google facilitates real-time bidding from exchanges on publisher ad requests. Google has contracts related to exchange bidding for both publishers and exchanges. But before a publisher can connect with an exchange bidding yield partner, that publisher must have an established contractual relationship with that partner. Google is not involved in the required contracts between publishers and exchanges. Now, before we get too far, it's important not to confuse exchange bidding with header bidding. Unlike header bidding, exchange bidding lets the DFP ad server communicate directly with third-party ad exchanges in a server-to-server connection, rather than communicating through custom header bidding code implemented in a publisher's mobile app or web page. This means an increase of speed and ensured accuracy of bids from the third-party exchanges. All right, so how exactly does exchange bidding work? Before any auctions can take place, a publisher first creates yield groups in DFP. Yield groups are a new type of yield management workflow. They allow publishers to specify what inventory they want to sell via exchange bidding and which exchanges to sell to. They include DoubleClick Ad Exchange and a combination of third-party exchanges. Yield groups contain targeting similar to line items, which is used by publishers to expose inventory to exchange bidding. DFP uses these yield groups to identify a list of partners that will compete in the unified auction. The exchange bidding process begins when an ad request is triggered and information is passed to the DFP ad server. Using targeting and delivery pacing information, DFP catalogs all eligible line items booked in the DFP ad server and selects the best line item to compete via dynamic allocation in a unified auction to determine the best yield. For each exchange assigned to an eligible yield group, DFP sends a bid request to collect their highest bids. Please note, we only send one request per exchange bidding partner, even if they appear in multiple eligible yield groups. In addition, any ad exchange controls in place will only apply to ad exchange demand, such as rules for pricing and blocking. Likewise, demand that comes from a third-party exchange will be subject to the third-party exchange controls from their own UI. From there, targeted yield partners run their own auction and return the most competitive bid to DFP. Once that's complete, DFP hosts a unified auction and selects the winner. This auction compares yield partner bids, the ad exchange bid, and other direct line items via dynamic allocation to ensure that each impression maximizes yield. For publishers interested in using exchange bidding, a couple details must be properly configured. First, please ensure that the DFP account being used is mapped to an ad exchange account, which is also set as the default for dynamic allocation. If this is the first time you're hearing about dynamic allocation, we suggest you view the corresponding training material on Publisher University. Second, exchange bidding must be manually enabled in a DFP account before starting, and this will require a contract addendum to be signed. Please work with your account manager to ensure proper setup and eligibility. For more training information, please refer to additional material on Publisher University. And for even more help and information, check out the Help Center. Thanks for watching.